Start the National Symposium on Practice Management. May I request everybody in the back to come a little forward? Please come forward. Yeah, that'll be nice. So National Symposium on Practice Management. Now this is the program that was decided. It took a long time, but we have a galaxy of very good presenters. So you're going to enjoy it. We have eminent people like Dr. Venkatesh, Dr. Mahipal Sachdev, if he's here, Dr. Debashri Bhattacharya is here, Dr. G.N. Rao, Dr. Arvind, Ms. Divya from LICO, and all the team are there. So we'll all be here at your disposal. So I'll request, without saying much, we'll invite our first speaker, Dr. Aditya Sethi. He'll be coming in. So we'll invite our first speaker, Dr. Vaibhav Sethi, who will be speaking on Teleophthalmology 2, Beyond the Screen. So as you all know, that the future of ophthalmology is going to be very decisive with a lot of new innovations coming in, the paradigm shift in healthcare. The Prime Minister yesterday in his talk at India Today Conclave made it very clear that Ayushman Bharat will scale up in the next 5 years if he comes back, and that specialities will be taken care of, and he wants other systems of medicine also to be brought. So we are now at a time when things are going to change, so it's very important for us to know how we adapt to the changing situation. So over to Dr. Vaibhav Sethi. Dr. Vaibhav Sethi did his residency at the Arvind Eye Hospital and his fellowship at the L.V. Prasad, and now is a vitreoretinal surgeon in Delhi.
Slides. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for this lovely program and this lovely session we're going to have today. I'll be discussing on some of the innovative approaches of how to handle community eye care, and which can be incorporated in your practice to help you screen out patients better. So there are 3 focus areas: remote screening and diagnostics, delivery of remote eye care in real time, and monitoring of capacity of global eye care. So just a few machines I'll be going through which can be seen. So we have to see basically innovations to improve the remote screening and diagnostics through visual functions testing, portable anterior segment imaging, and cataract diagnosis, and fundus imaging. These are the key areas that we normally see for comprehensive eye screening, which can be done through teleophthalmology as well. So a visual field testing analyzer like a Titmus V4 analyzer, which can do multiple functions, check your visual acuity, your depth perception, the color vision, which can be giving an indication of the optic nerve health, the foreas, and the peripheral vision. Along with this, the Visualite Master can do all these functions and also do a macular function analysis through an Amsler grid, as well as check your astigmatism and your contrast. The Peak test can be very comfortably used, and anybody can simply learn how to use it. It's a portable eye examination kit, a smartphone-based tumbling e-chart, and SimSight, which gives an indication to the patient how the vision is and how vision could be post-cataract surgery, along with color vision and contrast sensitivity assessment. LVP has frugal innovations in folding phoropter, which is a low-cost paper-based screening device for refractive error assessment, as well as the novel pediatric perimeter, which measures and quantifies the visual field for kids between 3 to 6 months of age. Anterior segment imaging, now there are various tools in the market available. Some of them initially was Forus, which had the diffuse anterior segment imaging for the diffuse anterior pathologies, as well as dry eye analysis and meibography. And a handheld table mounted can be, and even an AR can be available along with this anterior segment imaging. So Remedy also has come out, and there are definitely many other players now in the market which give you portable handheld devices, which can be used to give a very clear image through the smartphone itself, which can be sent through cloud or Android-based systems into your EMR software, so that you can do teleophthalmology screening at your doorstep. Anterior segment diagnostics also includes glaucoma analysis, so eye pressure being the integral part, checking for the corneal thickness and the eye pressure through various devices, the eye care and other devices like rebound tonometry, and as well as Perkins, which is application-based tonometry, and home IOP monitoring devices are used in the Western population very commonly to evaluate their home IOP monitoring and the diurnal variations. Anterior segment, the Indian innovation of the Dix Pro, which is a smartphone-based gonioscopy, can also be utilized at a peripheral center, which can image and give you the angle structures and the pathology. The visual field analyzer, which has been done now by various companies, which is a very smart and very accurate analyzer, which has a good reproducibility and is comparable to the gold standard machine. And the advantage is it's easy to do and can be done at the doorstep of the patient at your screening device, and the reports can be sent through the EMR to you. The Pupil device, Pupil Plus, which measures and quantifies pupillary and neurological responses to light stimulus, is a useful anterior segment diagnostic tool. And coming to the fundus, because diabetic retinopathy screening glaucoma analysis is incomplete without the use of non-mydriatic fundus camera, because we cannot, because of the technical issues in dilation and time spent. So a non-mydriatic based fundus camera is in essence. So the optic nerve function, the optic nerve analysis, as well as the macula and posterior pole can be imaged very comfortably through handheld devices as well, which are now smartphone based, and they have an AI based algorithm which can tell you the diabetic retinopathy and can be useful in evaluation. The MI-RETCAM is also a novel technique which is now used for not just DR screening but also for ROP screening, and it's a very useful machine which can, it has a slight learning curve, but once you get a hang of it, it's a good machine to use by a technician, and you can be certified and can be used readily in your peripheral teleophthalmology screening practices. The open indirect ophthalmoscope, a portable high quality mydriatic fundus camera, which is also can be 3D printed, and software algorithms are there for diagnosis, and also it's AI based, which helps in further deep learning. So there are numerous devices available, and everything has its own benefits. So you can choose the one that's available and is affordable. And this is a very interesting technology which was published in 2019. And this is a technology, this is a teleophthalmic slit lamp. A slit lamp which is robotized with precision stepper and servo motors to motorize all the slit lamp functions. So here you can see at the base hospital, the doctor is analyzing these reports, and the patient is sitting with this proper chair-based model, and through the help of robotic system, the anterior segment can be imaged very, just like examining the patient at your own very clinic. So it can be done remotely via internet, and 3D viewing further helps in enhancing the depth and checking the angle structures. So real-time screening can be installed in primary centers, and these ophthalmic slit lamps could be one of the ways in which vision technicians and volunteers which are present there can be seen, can be using and suggesting anterior segment pathologies, post-ops, follow-ups can be done similar ways, and though there's an initial cost to it, but on the long run, if it's taken care of, it's a good economical tool. So there are various variables and effects which are in teleophthalmology, but overall, long-term wise, teleophthalmology is the way forward in tackling various comprehensive eye pathologies from glaucoma, cataract, annulment, as well as diagnosing diabetic retinopathy. So data has to be organized, communicated, updated, analyzed, and very important to be secure and accessible anywhere by the treating physician. And finally, we'll be coming to the role of AI, where the further speakers will be taking care of the AI part. And so basically, technology is here to improve your surgical skill as well. And virtual reality, now we're using 3D systems everywhere, and immersive surgical simulators like Help Me See have really helped young ophthalmologists come up and enhance their surgical skills before doing a real surgery as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Weber. Take the questions at the end. Our next speaker is Dr. R. Venkatesh. Dr. Venkatesh, on this side, please, needs no introduction. He is heading the Arvind Pedichery and has picked up the Mega Award at the ASCRS for his green initiatives at the hospital. So over to Dr. Venkatesh from the Arvind. I request Dr. Debashish to please join us on the dais. Please come, sir. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the kind introduction. I'm just going to share with you some of the things which we do towards making our care green, and I'm sure many of you do in your day-to-day practice. So it's a kind of a race with some frugal innovations. So I'm sure you all know about the Sustainable Development Goals. And if you see goal number 12 and 13 is so important. We have to be very responsible in consumption of whatever we get from the market. And the 13 is the climate action, which we are all worried, the change which is happening in the world. So this Lancet came some time back. It said climate change is the biggest global health threat of the 21st century. And Lancet again had another issue saying that tackling the climate change could be the greatest global health opportunity. So there is a threat on one side and an opportunity for us on the other side. So I'm going to share with you some of the practices we have seen as opportunity back at home wherever we practice. So I'm based in Pondicherry. So if you take these WHO guidelines, if you can follow some of these meticulously in your practice, I'm sure you can be a part of a climate warrior. So one is energy efficiency, whether how you're going to be efficient or having a good green building design, getting energy from alternative sources like wind and solar, and transportation, which is a key part to be taken care. Not only the transport of your patients, but also your staff. Can you have them within the campus? And then about food waste, how you properly segregate and recycle waste, and finally on water. So in general, we can put this into two buckets like this, in general and in service design. So whenever we are talking about general things which are practically applicable, if you are going for a new facility, you can go for a green building. Now there are amazing engineers and architects who do excellent green building, where we can have very good ventilation, very good lighting in the daytime, so you don't have to use electricity, and a lot of things on how you are going to do, LEDs, your energy efficient fans, your higher end air handling units, all that which consume less energy. And then definitely putting up solar panels, and I'm sure there is a big way government is supporting for this. And wherever possible, if you can house your staff within the campus, you can reduce a lot of travel of your staff. And more importantly, there is equipment maintenance, which is a key sometimes. If you give a priority to that, your machines and slit lamps will work for years together without much issues. But I'll focus more on the service design, how we reduce carbon footprint, and how we optimally do a lot of reuse and recycling. So whenever we talk about reduce, we always think being very rational in consumables. It's not only that. It is reducing whatever possible from your side, being more frugal, reducing the number of visits the patient comes. We know a patient has to come several times to the hospital just for a cataract surgery, a pre-operative workup, during the surgery, post-operative follow-up. Can we do telemedicine? Can we do telemedicine like what Vaibhav was highlighting? So things like that also is MR. So how you reduce paper is having a good electronic medical record. Now recently we did a work comparing EMR versus paper, and we found that paper is it is more carbon friendly than EMR. It was very surprising because EMR involves a lot of systems, a lot of printers, inks, and then printing of prescriptions and all that. But paper didn't have that much of a carbon significance. But what we also understood that if you can generate your own electricity, then EMR is equally good as paper. But that is more important, how we are going to generate electricity. And standardizing procedures are very important. Now, whatever possible, if you do it in an assembly line process, you can definitely take care of this. And I'll just touch upon some of the things which are highlighting about reuse and recycling. So whenever there is a design, there are several footprints. So wherever possible, can we reduce these footprints by having an assembly line process, one person doing one task, and having very skilled staff doing that so that it was utmost quality, wherein you don't have to repeat a visual field, you don't have to repeat a OCT scan or something else. And also you can effectively utilize some of the equipments. So this is, I'll take you inside one of our vision centers because this is something which is close to our heart. We have 117 vision centers across Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry, and each center, they see close to 40 outpatients every day. And if you see, they have two staff. One is called a coordinator, who runs the optical medical and also does the basic investigation like blood pressure, blood sugar. There is a Remedio on the doorstep, no financial interest in this. Image is taken, and within 30 seconds, your AI is done for diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma, and ARMD. It's uploaded into the electronic medical record, and then the patient moves to the inner cubicle where an optometrist does the refraction and does some basic investigations. So basically, these centers are within 50 to 60 kilometers from the tertiary care center. They are 500 square feet facility. Now basically trying to reduce the travel of the patients. So 90% of the patients are taken care. An applanation is done. All these information is entered into the EMR, and finally a telemedicine happens. So every day in Pondicherry, we see 600 outpatients through centers, and throughout Aravind, we have seen almost 1 million outpatients last year. So they don't have to travel. And what we saw, interestingly, during COVID time was, significantly these centers did very well. If you see this data, they were almost seeing 80% of the patients during wave 1 and wave 2, when you had lockdowns, whereas the tertiary hospital were only seeing 40%. So if you have centers in semi-urban rural area where people need not travel, they would really enjoy that. And we looked at a lot of things, and we also looked at how much of patients need not come to 90% need not come to the base hospital. So this is a calculation we did and published, so much of trees you can plant if you can reduce their travel. And we are looked at 2 models during COVID time. One is doing the same day surgery for vision center patients. So their preoperative workup is done in vision center. They come only for surgery, postoperative follow-up in vision center. And then this postoperative visit is for our paying patients and free direct. They go next day to vision center. So these 2 things we started during COVID, and we found a significant reduction of travel, and this was equivalent to planting 2,000 trees. No, these are all fully grown trees. So these are calculations made on life cycle assessment. So significant number of people are ready to go to vision center the next day for follow-up. They don't want to see a doctor. They are happy to go somewhere near and have their treatment done. So this data was interesting, like in 21 when COVID was slightly reducing, 22 and 23, almost 40% of our paying patients and 70% of our free direct were happy to go to vision center the next day and even after 1 month. So whenever we talk about surgery, these processes are very important, and you need to be stringently consumables and all that we have to take care. But this is an interesting work we did some time back. It's called life cycle assessment again. We looked at various things we use in the operating room, and many of you practice like this. And if you see carefully the last 2, which is the disposable ones, if you can carefully segregate like the video you see, thick plastic, thin plastic, paper, slightly more dustbins, but if you can do that, you can make a significant revenue from this waste. So only at the end of the day, all these waste, they go. So all the other things which normally you follow, CSST or washing of your gowns and all that, but this proper segregating of waste can significantly reduce your carbon footprint, which we published. And we said in US, it's like running 500 kilometers, whereas just 25 kilometers back at home in Aravind. So that much of difference, 1/20th difference you can see. So there the waste is 20 times higher, and infection rates are almost same, which is, we are all worried about infection rates. So this is just to show you what happens in Western world. Normally in our ORs, we don't have much waste. So there's one phaco case, this is in David Chang's operating room, versus 100 cases in Aravind Pondicherry. So that is the way, if you can segregate, you can properly reduce your consumables, recycle certain things properly, most of you can achieve that. This is just to show you the waste categories we do. By doing this, it generates almost 50,000 Indian rupees every month in Pondicherry, which takes care of 2 housekeepers' salary. So all these people may ask, what are you going to do at the end of the day? But if you do this, you are going to be climate friendly, and you can also generate money. And that's what we have seen. So wherever we see, if you are friendly with the patient and the planet, you are going to make profit. And we have taken this model through IAPB, through iSustain of ASCRS across the globe. And I'm sure if you all practice this, you will also be happy at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a beautiful presentation. It's an eye-opener, actually. Many of us don't even look at this part of our work. And thank you very much, Dr. Venkatesh. And if there are any questions for him, we'll take it at the end of the session.
Now I invite Dr. Aditya, great son of a great father and rather great parents, and I am sure that he will also deliver the great talk.
The time factor.
Can I get my slide? Hi, thank you for this opportunity. I'm Dr. Aditya Sethi from Gurgaon and Delhi. I'm going to talk about something very exciting, artificial intelligence ophthalmology, which I feel is a bridge between the last two talks. It fits right beautifully in between telemedicine and sustainable operations in the future. So, artificial intelligence has already been effective in a lot of ways in our healthcare already. So drug discovery is one of them. We know latest medications, vaccines, drugs which have used AI as a generative tool to find out the right ingredients. It also has worked in the underserved population, improving speed and accuracy of diagnosis. It has taken data from a lot of EHRs or EMRs and actually found out the more perceptible population and given us more strategic target sites for our activities. Just 2 days back, there was an article in the Ophthalmology Times which spoke about the first robotic retinal surgery which is done. It's done in Belgium, and it was just successful 2 days back. So it's ever changing. Every moment there's something new happening in artificial intelligence. And of course, research and clinical trials is one of the best possible places where AI has been used. So basically, AI is not new. In 1950, Alan Turing spoke about in his article, Can Machines Actually Think? And this is evolved to the Turing's test, which is basically evaluation of machines' behavior to exhibit whether it can think like a human brain. And this laid the foundation of AI. But the AI timeline is very vast. It's as vast as 1950 going on to today. And that little spot you see in between, that's the AI winter. AI winter was a blog where there was complete blockage of AI activities, which were absolutely unsuccessful, and they call it the winter. So thereafter, AI in healthcare has been something that has been ever evolving, and today we have reached a stage where we have AI on our phones, AI on our glasses, AI on our wrist, so everywhere. And last 2 decades, there's a lot of transformation in healthcare. There's data from the watches you wear, there's data from your phones in your pocket, there's data when you sleep and you put your phone next to your bedside. There's data all around you. And this data is now being summarized by AI and by various companies, and that's used to get proper diagnostic, personalized medicine, and patient care management. So all those apps that help you sleep well, all those watches which monitor heart rate, is actually collecting data which can be used in a proper way and get the right person at the right place in a personalized fashion. So ophthalmology is basically the best place for AI, because everything we do, from a spectacle number till getting a photo till getting an OCT, is rich with data. And that data is utilized in the right way is what we're here to talk about. So significance in ophthalmology, the first study which was actually done with AI goes back to 1970. This is the CASNET study, which was done in the US and was talking about glaucoma considerations and consultation programs in 1970 to deliver personalized approaches with AI. And the most successful one we all very aware of is the mycin one, which was basically to find out the exact antibiotic and create better antibiotic which is available today. So again, there are a lot of milestones. One of the largest or the best milestone for AI is the FDA approval of the IDX-DR platform, which is now allowed to independently diagnose diabetic retinopathy in the US and various other places. It's got an FDA approval to do so. And that has made the telemedicine very popular with this particular product, and more and more diabetic retinopathy patients have been able to be screened who don't have the access to ophthalmologist or a specialized ophthalmologist. And the spectrum continues. Now, basic 3 types of AI which are there are artificial narrow intelligence, which is basically designed for specific tasks. We have artificial general intelligence, which is supposed to match the human brain, and artificial super intelligence, which is supposed to super exceed the ones we see in Netflix movies and we are pretty scared of. So currently, luckily, most of it is for particular tasks or ANI, and that's what we are focusing on. We're not focusing on something which matches the human, and it's not here to replace any of us or our brains. It's here to just augment us, and that's where AI has a role. We have deep learning and CNNs in ophthalmology, which pick up on images, how it feels and how the diagnosis will be made, and various milestones. It's also been used in glaucoma now highly successfully. Look at the sensitivity and specificity rates. It's as touching 90% in both of them. Real world impact, we had the Watson from IBM, which has spoken about the Google AI, which we're very well averse of, where they've taken a fundus photo from the camera of the phone, and the clinical outcomes are just mind-blowing. Diabetic retinopathy studies, the IDX DR is the most popular one, and we have the IART study. Both of them are very good. I'm going to talk about some challenges of AI. Now, basic challenge of AI is the data quality. So the image that we provide to the AI has to be of a certain quality, otherwise we misdiagnose. A lot of us say we use AI, but it doesn't give the right value. And what the basic problem is that the specificity or the image quality varies, and that's what causes the problems. Second is getting it integrated on your already existing EMRs and EHRs. So none of us are willing to part with what we already have. So it's very important for these AIs to come as an add-on rather than a replacement. Ethical and legal consideration, I think we are well versed with this. A lot of questions have been raised about ethicity, the data leak, whether this data is secure or not, or will this AI start talking on its own. These are all considerations, bylaws that we have to make today so that tomorrow we don't have a problem. And a lot of committees have been formed legally and politically all over the world. Next step is basically getting the doctors and the patients to trust this AI. So the only way towards that is making a very transparent AI, something that shows what exactly this AI is doing rather than saying, oh, it's a secret, just punch in, let's see what happens. Because transparency leads to trust, as simple as that. And ethical framework, we have to protect human autonomy. So basically what we want is the autonomy should be with the doctor, should be with the patient, not with the AI. And basically the black box, which we keep talking about, which talks about transparency. And that should be it. The synergy between AI and ophthalmologists is very, very important. And getting that into the right place will actually make this a very viable tool. And I think in the next couple of years, I won't even say 5-10 years, this is going to be a very important part of our practice management and our community management. And I think that is where AI is right now there. And it can completely evolve on its own as well. It really depends on the data we as ophthalmologists feed into it and how it will be tomorrow. So it gives a very personalized approach. AI is still a baby, even though it's born in 1950. It's really started growing up now. So it's very important to not match it to the diabetic specialists or the glaucoma specialists we have here, but give it the aid so that it can actually get the proper education and become something better tomorrow. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope I was able to shed some light on AI today.
Any comments?
Thank you, Aditya, for an excellent insight into artificial intelligence. And I think as we get as it is more standardized and we get the ethical approvals, I think we can use it very strongly in our remote screenings, and where you don't even need teleophthalmology. So now we have quite a few doctors of my age. So we have an interesting topic, the keynote address from the Decent, Disciplined and Dignified Retirement, Dr. Manilal Chotalia. He's from Junagadh in Gujarat and will tell us about how he's enjoying his retired life.
Good morning, friends. And first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Namrata Sharma, Scientific Committee Chairperson, as well as Dr. Lalit Verma, a good friend of mine, who inspired me for this talk when I met him before 6 months, and I expressed my view on this topic, and he told that you carry on. So I am thankful to them, and of course, I am thankful to Dr. Sethi for including me in his team. I have given this name, 3D retirement, decent, disciplined, and dignified. Why? I disclaim that I am not an authorized advisor for investments. My attempt is to make all colleagues, especially youngsters, aware of ups and downs of life without affecting our lifestyle with adequate family and social obligations. These three legends, my PG teacher, Dr. R.N. Mathur, inspired me how to begin earning career. Then my teacher, Dr. Nagpal sir, also inspired me how to maintain it with dignity, without stress. And one of my senior most colleagues, late Dr. R.S. Kazi, taught me how to be prepared for pleasant retirement. My agenda of talk is, shall we retire? What is the retirement? What to do during retirement? What did I do for my retirement? A few suggestions and some conclusion. Shall we retire? Yes. When? It is not the age, but income is more important. It shall be planned after having sufficient financial securities to combat for spending rest of the life with the same lifestyle. It shall be progressive and not abrupt. It shall be neither impulsive nor compulsive. Suppose if somebody threatens to sue you and you get desperate and I should give up, nothing should happen like this. And it should not be a compulsive due to some complications. Patient say that his hand is trembling, and so you should not go up to that extent. When you know that, I will let you know a funny occasion as such. When I started my practice, I was the 6th ophthalmologist in my town, and late Dr. Senior Kazi was the most senior person with roaring practice. So at that time, many of the patients came to me and told me that as such we were consulting Dr. Kazi, but now as his hand is trembling, that's why we have come to you. So at that time, an idea clicked in my mind that either these people or their hair will talk the same about me after 40 years. So I decided that I should not give any opportunity to speak like this about me. And why the retirement? After working for so many years, we get physically as well as mentally tired to do the things what we have always wanted to do but couldn't do due to so many responsibilities. How? Retirement has to be happy, healthy, and wealthy. We should use time to enjoy ourselves and experience what the life has to offer outside of the office. Where should be the retirement? It should be preferably at place where we have social associations and attachments, maybe native place or where the children have settled. What is retirement? It is the time that is all our own when responsibilities are minimized, as until retirement we are either under the control of parents or a boss, or we are responsible for our children and employees. What to do during retirement? We might have spent majority of our years in planning, saving, and making money by working hard in our career. Our job might have been our passion, but it is now an opportunity to find new passions that leave us with contentness without a paycheck. We shall create stronger bonds with the people around us, challenge our body and mind with new and exciting activities, which can be vacation somewhere with friends and family, maybe relaxing with grandkids, or adopting back a long-lost hobby. You know, so far as this affection between grandchildren and grandparents is concerned, it is because both of them have got the same enemies. What did I do for my retirement? I will not boast about me, but whatever I did, I am telling you. Preparation for old age shall begin not later than your youth. Life which is purposeless until 60 will not suddenly become fulfilled upon retirement. So I started enjoying vacations with family, of course, within my reach from my earlier years of private practice. Even though many of my friends were considering me fool for wasting earning potential in spending to roam here and there, I used to take a break of 8 to 10 days during Diwali festival, couple of small breaks during Holi and Janmashtami festival. What did I do for my retirement? I started monthly recurring deposits, tax-free in those days. Before 40 years, I opened some pygmy account in a nationalized bank in which we are supposed to deposit some lump sum amount per day, and the account was being carried out. A decade, then turned out to be useful in settlement of couple of social occasions, even though the interest rate was not too high. But it helped me to make me a mandatory savings as a routine. I also started a couple of recurring deposit accounts around the same time frame, and that helped me with my European tours as well as my last year's Scandinavian tour. I also opened PPF account for 30 years. I started SIPs 2 decades ago. I started investing in all these SIPs, which we are giving good yields. I started investing, but not as a daily trader. I applied for IPOs, which was not as cumbersome as now. And then I invested in purchasing A-grade company shares. As you are just like my family, I am exposing a little bit of my portfolio that I started purchasing 5 shares of Reliance before 30 years. So during lockdown, I could add 1,000 shares more. So it come to some 3,000 shares or so. So it is just an example. So one of the biggest and common mistakes people commit in capital market is daily trading. Of course, I booked profits at certain levels, but I followed the reliable advisors whom I used to pay their fees. I didn't think of investing in lands due to fear of indulgence of antisocial elements occupying our land and extracting our profits in getting rid of them. When we do not make our goals to run after money always, we have opportunity to enjoy our life simultaneously. Otherwise, money that we earn might remain just unused or may create unnecessary expectations among our offsprings. I always spend most of the time laughing with my friends, colleagues, family, and hence remain stress-free and try to have a quality life. I am intending to follow same lifestyle for the rest of my life so as to live without stress. So always invest in health policies from the beginning of the earning career, as health services have become quite costlier. One should be a member of FBA scheme without failing, over and above our LIC policies. Of course, I have not retired fully, but I have converted myself into medical ophthalmologist since COVID, and I am enjoying my life in my own way. Some inspiratory ideas for happy, healthy, and wealthy retirement life. Retire from a work, but not from life. Start thinking about retirement before boss does. Start thinking about where to invest money and how to get good returns as soon as our earning career starts. Find your hidden passion before you retire and do things that you always have wanted to do. Do not simply retire from something, but to have something to retire. Person can't retire from his experience. One must use it. Experienced one can achieve more with less energy and time. Retirement is the end of one inning of life and the beginning of the next. Concluding my talk, think that I am retired now, say goodbye to the tension. One is never too old to set a goal or dream a new dream. There is a whole new kind of life ahead, full of new adventures, experiences, just waiting to happen. It is a bliss rather than a retirement. Retirement is wonderful if we have two essential things, much more to live on and much to live more. It is an easy and relaxing time of our life. We shall retire wealthy, no matter where we are in our life. Good health, good relations, good virtues, adequate wealth are important for peace of mind during retirement. Plan well, no fears, no tears, gear must life with cheers. I like these words of Dalai Lama, that person asked God, what surprises you most about mankind? God answered, they lose their health to earn money. They lose their money to restore health. By thinking anxiously about the future, they forget the present. And they live neither for the present nor the future. That they live as if they will never die, and they die as if they had never lived. Thank you for patient hearing.
Thank you very much. So two things come out very clearly. One is health is wealth, and the other is in the olden days they said that a doctor dies with his boots on. But you said you can take off your boots once in a while. Thank you. So our next speaker is Dr. Debashis. I request Dr. Satanshu Mathur to introduce him.
Dr. Deveshi, we all know, is the chairman of Disha group of hospitals. We have seen Disha just behind this beautiful convention center, and he has more than 11 hospitals in the Calcutta itself. So he has been motivating all of us to know how to grow your hospitals and start the change. We can listen from him.
Good morning, everybody. So it's been quite a big topic, financial clarity, insight, navigating growth in ophthalmic practice, and there's a lot of things to go. Essentially, India is a very fascinating subcontinent. You know, we have the entire Singapore with its population and its GDP, an entire Poland, an entire Mexico, an entire Philippines, a Pakistan, and also the sub-Saharan Africa in this subcontinent of ours, which is called India. And so it is for us where we target, we can't do it all. So where we target our work, where we direct our efforts, and what would give the most optimal results, because resources definitely in an ascending, aspiring country is limited. As you go through the industry consumption of intraocular lenses, which is a very good stat, you would also agree to this Singapore sub-Saharan African concept, where 50% of the lenses used are either PMMA or hydrophilic lenses out of the 65 lakh cataracts that we do. So essentially, it depends where and which bracket would you work with. And, you know, this again is complicated by the inequity that exists. So again, it depends. Even in between a state, the capital of the state may be quite affluent, whereas a district may be quite not so affording. So essentially, it is a question of why we want to do what we want to do. And there must be enough clarity and constant consistency in this answer to this why. So if you focus on welfare, definitely we can understand that a country which is ascending and is aspiring with limited resources cannot afford welfare for every person. But it is better probably to bank on aspirations, because it is an ascending democracy. And now, for the next 20 years, we all hear, you know, it's our decade, our next 20 years, the demography is so good, be a 5, 10, $20 trillion economy. So definitely, I think aspirations and banking on aspirations, which means that everybody is going to pay for their treatment, will aspire to more personalized, customized, developed eye care, rather than settle for welfare, health care, and I think yesterday, Dr. Rao, I was talking to him, and he said that we are suffering from one thing, and that is poverty of aspiration, poverty of ambition. So anyway, that was his thoughts. So quality is central. I mean, in any way, we cannot compromise on the quality. So let us be consistent on that. And then if we focus, the biggest tools of scaling would be technology. You can really scale with technology, And then you need people. So the first affiliations could well be your friends, which we did with our case in Disha Eye hospitals. And the next delegation that comes is multitasking and using systems and people to make this entire affiliation as efficient as possible. Like giving a small example of how technology can relieve human effort. We do Optos, we use Optos like indirect ophthalmoscope. Equipment which costs 1 crore rupees, and we charge 300 rupees for an Optos. But we use it in hospitals which see more than 500 patients. So even if you have 10% myopes, you are doing 50 patients with that Optos. We use Optos for every patient undergoing intraocular surgery, and every myope after, every 6 months after their cataract surgery. A lot of cases, and the machines do well, money is recovered, the retina person is very happy, he doesn't have to bend back to find peripheral lesions, he can just keep on lasering them. And the other thing is, the patients are very convinced when you show them the two printouts and say, this eye is good, but this eye has this lattice with a hole, and you need to be lasered. So eventually what an organization would always require is space for growth, because every individual in that organization needs to grow, and it has to propagate, and ultimately what matters at my age is perpetuity. I don't want to see Disha die in front of my eyes. So here is a blurred slide, and this is a constant picture as I go to other practices and try to see how are they doing financially. So essentially, there's nothing really to hide. I mean, it's our projection, and the next 15 days are added on to this. So this is what it is. Essentially, if you really see that as it goes, 10%, I mean, if you have invested a capex of say 100, a capital expenditure of 100, the best outcome would be that you have to do that 100 in 3 years' time. I explain you why, how. I mean, 20% goes for infrastructure and equipment. 20 rupees of that 100 rupees revenue goes for infrastructure and equipment. 20% goes for the consultant expenditure, 10% for staff, 20% for consumables, and 10% for maintenance, and 20% is a surplus to be invested. But if you do 50, so that surplus 20% is not there, the consumables will come down. You can still manage by cutting costs, by keeping the consultants part-time, staff part-time. So up to 50 of the 100 capex can still be manageable. Now, just to show, I mean, a 1 minute situation. Ronnie, could you help me with this? It won't move, no? Okay, so I was interested of showing you the balance sheets of our all 18 centers. I mean, it's all there and available. So actually, financial transparency is most important, because that helps you to plan budget and all that things, those were written. Now, from there, what do we pick up? What is the consistency of advice of our consultants? Are they advising more? Are they advising less? So there is a standard of practice which evolves within the organization. So if somebody is over-advising, his compliance will be low, and that's not good. So, and the dropouts in follow-ups, the second eye conversions, the vision at which he is operating. If he's a very good surgeon, maybe his vision at operation will be very minimal, like he'll be operating at 5% loss. So what's the brand value? How many times are the consultants being asked that I want so-and-so? And the relative comparisons of these factors within the branch and within the branches. So these are important guidelines to take us forward. And this, the economics is so important. See, if you just follow us, our institution from 97 till this date, of course, this is up to 21. I think the next two are also there, but it couldn't be accommodated. See how the expenditure for an elective planned procedure of cataract, we don't force them. I mean, this lens is good, that femto is good. But it's their choice and their affordability, based on their affordability, and it follows the GDP of the state. And consistently about 1.5 times, which actually is, our GDP assessments are also not as good. And, the PPP factors are also there. I think we are running short on time. So usually the perception is low cost is low quality. I mean, how can something cheap be good? But I mean, most of you must have flown in Indigo to Kolkata, so you know the answer. It is about quality, and then rolling it out properly through systems and processes. You can definitely hit low cost, because it is a purpose of the organization to be cost conscious. If you do your work efficiently, if we do our work efficiently, we can improve costs. So if you can improve costs, you can reduce prices. So that is the statement, that the cost is the first step to quality, and quality further improves cost. And fair price, it can do magic, because if I get excellent conference of this quality, say for 1,000 rupees, you say, oh God, I mean, these guys have done miracles. And you keep on coming to Kolkata every other time. So that is how economies of scale build up. And so there are many lean concepts. I'll just run through them, go step by step. And of course, like if you can't afford building a hospital, go for rent. You can share it with the promoter. He can be a part of the business. Equipment can be on hire purchase. Sleeping costs, most important. Appointments can reduce sleeping costs, because you can be sleeping in the afternoon, we're very busy in the morning. But if you plan your day and give appointments, everything is distributed out. Multitasking, encourage the staff to multitask. Say you can take a holiday. If the reception person can work in the operation theater, they can say, oh, she will take care of my job, so I can take a unplanned leave today. And doctors better be on MG, and we give year-end incentives, which is on a per-case basis. We encourage them to brand themselves, because that motivates them to do something more, and we compensate more for their brands. So, at 45s, which is a common time that doctors leave the organization, we target that, he should be earning as a 45-year consultant, good consultant like him, outside, so that he doesn't bother. I mean, I'm quite well here in other ways. I'm doing a good job, earning a good money. So, organizations also become patient-centric. And these are the various ways of infusion of capital. We all totally rely on internal accruals, because one good thing about it is you grow or evolve as much as your balance sheet tells you to do. Because as much as your surplus in following, so much do you invest. But there are loans, and of course, there is a burst of the segment of venture capital, private equity, and all that. But that is monetization of your value. It's risky, and please, if you are looking at it, we must treat it as debt. It is debt and very costly debt. So after 26 years, it's stories. It's stories which go on, and our story is a story of low-cost quality in eye care which continues. This is our multi-speciality which is coming up, and this is a slight diversification, but this is just because doctors, patients, and the staff at this stage want to do with the surplus. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Debashish, for a very insightful talk. Very few talks go to that depth. Before we move on to our next speaker, we have international delegates from the Republic of South Africa. I request them to stand, and we'd like to acknowledge their presence. Please stand in your seats. We have 3 doctors who come from South Africa, and Indian Ophthalmology is going to collaborate with them. Thank you. Next speaker.
So, next talk is by Dr. Sutanshu Mathur, and he'll be talking about branding, why it is a must for all.
Good afternoon, everybody on the dais and the hall. I am starting from where Dr. Debashish has left, branding. On karna? Nahi ho raha. First of all, when doctors go for branding, everybody asks why doctors are going brand. Doctors are God. But even gods have started branding nowadays. We can see Tirupati Maharaj, Vaishno Devi, even Ayodhya now. They all have been branded now. So why can't we doctors be branded? Because this topic is not taught to us in the medical college. We have been taught our theory, how to do the hard work, but how to earn the money. What do after retirement? So these all things come in the branding. If you start doing branding only, you have heard all the speakers who have multiple chains. But how they make the chain? For that, you have to do the branding. Only then you can achieve the target of Debashish. So branding is very important, and a person who, like me, who is working in a very small place, has branded himself. So branding is not a 3-tier, 2-tier city. Branding is in your mind concept. So why branding? This is the task. It is upon you which level you want to reach. I want to go to the highest level. If you want to go in the first or second step, sit in your place, do whatever you are doing, nothing to worry. But if you have to achieve the highest level, you have to do the branding. What business we are, what is a brand? Let's start by one. This Apollo tag is not a branding. You say, I fit a logo outside my hospital, this is branding? No, this is not the branding. A brand is not an identity. And finally, a brand is not a product. So what is branding? A brand is the total experience of a patient with your eye hospital clinic from the moment he enters inside till he leaves out. Means from the parking to the reception, to the optometrist, to the doctor, and finally he goes out. He should have a wonderful experience. That is the branding. Why we go to 5-star hotels? Because from the entrance gate, somebody comes and opens the gate, and then we are going inside reception, everybody talking. That's why we spend so much money in 5-star hotel. So if you want patient to spend money in your hospital, you should have all the experience with the patient. Not only that doctor is good, nothing. Doctor is last part. First experience start, love start at first sight. So when patient enter in your hospital, cleanliness, hygiene, parking, reception area, this all make the patient happy when he come to you. Why should hospital brand? There are so many animals. Can you recognize any difference in animals? No. So like you, so many doctors sitting on the same plane. What is the difference between you and them? So many detergent powder lying there. You go and pick up anyone because there is no brand there. So gone are the days when patients used to loyal to the one family doctor. Do the patient has more choices? When somebody go to, let's say, search in the Kolkata or Delhi, he goes to the internet, type in less center. So branding is there. He gets at least 5 to 10 answers. So branding is center is very important, attracting the patient to your center. Treatment nowadays shift toward accommodation. What is accommodation? There are so many balls, but red ball differentiates itself from others. Why? Because it has a brand. So if you want to differentiate yourself from your colleagues, you don't want to have competition from them, then you should have a brand. Otherwise, sitting there, working hard up to 60, 70 years, at last you will get nothing. A brand reduces the need to compete on price alone. You have to tag outside, camp lag raha hai, aa jao, 500 rupees mein operation ho rahe, 2000 mein operation ho rahe, because you have brand that you do not go for all these things. These are all things done by the persons who do not have the brand identity in the area. So, a strong brand gives your employee also a focus, not only for the patient. The three most important words in differentiating your brand is focus, focus, and focus. What do I mean by focus? You should focus on one specialty of your hospital. Suppose you are doing something which is not available outside. That is the focus. You consider on the LASIK, you consider Faberto, you consider on premium IOL. So you have to consider one part which is giving you more money, and you should publicize this thing more than others. Now I show you one thing. This is blue ocean strategy. How to create uncontested market space and make the competition irrelevant. You go for the thing. Suppose dry eye is not happening in nearby area. You start the dry eye clinics. You start the LASIK clinic. You start something diabetic clinics. So you are going to uncontested area. There is no competition there. And there is a red ocean where you are doing the routine cataract surgery. Everybody is doing it, and you are in the rolling around in the area. Arvind, take the example Arvind Hospital, take the Disha Hospital. What they are doing? They have started from the treatment for the poor patient. Now they are treating the rich patients also. So they have made their brand now. Himalayan drugs, they were the first to start the Ayurvedic medicines. And they have differentiated from others. So many allopathy medicines were there. They are no Ayurvedic medicine at that time. So this is the blue ocean theory. The birth of a brand is achieved with publicity, not the advertisement. Publicity, advertisement, those different things. Wow. Second important thing to make a brand is working with your own people. That he has said, Devashish, they are giving incentive. Yes, we have to make our staff our ambassadors. A person come to my hospital, he see 20 years, 30 years previously working here, got operated, his mother, father. Oh, still you are here. So he gets satisfied, the hospital must be good because staff are stayed there. Every time they come, new staff, that will give a good impression. We had to hire for attitude and train them for skill. We are doing opposite thing. We hire the skilled people. No, but if they do not have the attitude to work, they're useless. We should hire the person with attitude and then train them for the skill. They will be more loyal to you. This is the thing. You hire, recognize, and reward them, and then communicate with them, train them. That makes your brand. Henry Ford has said very rightly, you can take my factories, burn up my buildings, but give me my people, I will build the business right back again. So I can start so many chains if I have the royal person working with me. This is the thing. What most of us are doing, working morning 8 to night 8, हम 12 घंटे काम कर रहे हैं, rolling like inside the roller. No, you have to come out of it. How? By brand. So if you have brand, your schedule is filled with a lot of patients, but you do not seem to make a lot of money. You don't have the time for family, friends. You wake up early, every day exhausted because you are working rolling staff, because you're working on the same things everybody. No, brand means you should be free from all this nonsense. You work for 2 or 3 hours and money double then. I guarantee you, if you go for branding, your finance will be double in 3 years' time and you will be tension free. Spending too much time in the business rather you on the business. What does this mean? Cut or shine, so I'm running fast. A doctor, we do not know how a business is run exactly because we are not taught. We are good surgeon. We are good clinics. To run the practice of business, we need strong skills such as market analysis, computer analysis, marketing, funding, digital marketing, everything we need nowadays. If you say we do not do it, then rest at home, better. Basically, all of us, what we are doing more. Most of us want to do more than the competitor. Say more patients, more surgery, more glasses, but time is restricted 8 to 10 hours. What we can do maximum 8 to 10 hours. But if you have brand, then within 8 to 10 hours, you can double your working capacity. I am sitting here, my hospital running behind me. Why? Because I have a brand. I am sitting there, doesn't matter. Most of your hospital must be closed because you are sitting here. So I am running very fast now. This is not to justify the branding which we do in years in 8 month times. So important thing is skill, pride, and technology. We can differentiate. Skill is everybody, not every doctor is equally skilled. Every doctor has reduced the price. Price is not important. Important is technology. Devashi has said, he has the optometrist in the hospitals. They are doing the retina examination on all the patients. So technology is very important. Skill सब में बराबर है, price सब कम कर सकते हैं, but technology जहाँ होगी, वहीं पर branding होगी. Providing unique customer experience with key. ये I just so. जब आप कॉफ़ी शॉप कॉफ़ी प्लांट लगता है वहाँ से 10 रुपये में हमें कॉफ़ी मिलती है, वह हम पैक करते हैं तो 25 से मिलती है, सर्विस करते हैं रेस्टोरेंट में छोटे में 50, बट वी गो टू कॉफ़ी बर्ग, व्हाट वी गेट इन 250, 200 rupees. So brand means you can sell the same thing at higher rates. There is no competition with others. I am doing the premium surgery costing more than my neighbors because I have a brand. This is the important. Work less and more. Okay. Then most important thing, just last minute, this is the doctor's view. Doctor think, post-operative vision 6 by 6, patient happy. No. You can give 6 by 6 vision. Either patient will not be happy, staff is not good, hygiene is not good, bathrooms are not good. So what is, they should be happy on all the 4 counts. Initial 4 count, test, official visit, procedure day, post day. They should be make happy on all the 5 parameters. Only then they are happy. If 6 by 6 is happy, they will complete other things also. So brand means the patient enter from your hospital, go outside, come on the consultation visit. It should be 6 by 6. So to have a good website, Google ranking, digital marketing, you stop reading these books now. You are a mature doctor, you have learned everything now. Stop reading these books now. Too much time. What should you read? You should read how to get the money. Because all have had 12 or 15 years, spent a lot of money. For what? For moral duty? No. Now we have the time to earn the money. I have earned a lot of money for my children now. I am satisfied. Everybody should be satisfied now. So this is the branding. Thank you very much.
Thank
Talk, and I'm happy that my children had left the hall before you put that slide. So the next speaker.
So we just call upon Divya from LICO, and she'll be talking to us about examine your return on investment in your cataract practice. Look out for the leaks.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, just wait for this. So, very happy to talk to you about this. This is going to be just to, all of you are very experienced. I'm not a doctor, but I come with some experience in working with hospitals, both NGO hospitals, government hospitals, and quite a few private practitioners. And I will be sharing towards the end of my talk one such experience. So basically, in this session, we're not going to talk about how to raise capital or how to make your investment work, but more about how can you kind of tweak your cataract practice, tweak your eye care practice to ensure that you are able to maximize your return on investment, and how you ensure that the design of your system is around that. This is not a session on finance, but I want to remind you that you have to look at the drivers of your costs are both your direct costs and your costs on capital, but mainly we fail to look at utilization, which is really dependent on the patient volumes. Are we bringing in enough patients, and how much are we making? So this is a fine balance. How much can I charge a patient versus how do I ensure that what I'm charging is not holding back patients from entering my system? And then profitability is mainly the outcome. So we're going to be talking about different levers that we can use to ensure that we are able to maximize this profit. And hidden behind are majorly our fixed cost, our indirect costs. So how do you ensure that your volumes help you ensure that you're able to utilize the fixed costs that you anyway have sunken in? Okay, so how do you ensure that you're increasing patient volumes? We already heard about the sleeping costs, appointments. How do you ensure that you're able to manage your flow? How can you ensure that you're having enough strategies? It could be outreach, it could be branding, it could be a lot of social media ideas that have come up in several sessions today. Are we investing in that to ensure that patients come into the hospital, that patients walk into our hospital? This is very, very important. And like I mentioned earlier, high pricing does not necessarily mean more revenue. No, it becomes, think of it like a step that patients need to step on to enter your hospital. How high is that step? If I keep it low, more patients will come in. I have to be good enough to serve them. If I keep it too high, I'm going to get probably only the premium customers walking in, which is fine, but please remember that does not immediately translate to more revenue. Compliance to treatment. This is something I'm going to elaborate further later towards the end. We all bring in patients, but are we able to maximize the revenue from each patient who come in? And compliance, adherence, or uptake of treatment is key here. And also examining where our patients are not coming from. So this is a quick look at patients who come from, this is the number of patients. The numbers you're seeing are number of patients, new patients per 1 lakh population in a year. You can see very varied. This is, our hospital is located in Madurai, and you can see in the neighboring districts, even from Dindigul, from north, from other centers we're getting it, but from this immediately adjoining district in the south, we're not getting that kind of patients. So examine where your patients are coming from, but also examine where they're not coming from. For example, Shroff, several years ago, this is how they were able to really track where their patients are not coming from. They were using PIN codes, a very clever way to look at patients are coming from and where they're not coming from. So they identified 2 PIN code areas where patients are not coming from. They started doing apartment camps, and this way they were able to greatly increase the number of patients from those areas after intervention. You can see how great that growth was. So it's very important to step back and look at where our patients are or not coming from. And also examining, again, we're looking at demand flows. So in the north of India, we've seen when we worked with several hospitals, this is this has a very big effect on the hospital. So you can see this hospital we worked with had, in the winter, they were doing 85% of their surgeries. And for the rest of the year, 8 months, they're doing only 15% of their surgeries. By working on shifting their camps to the summer times, by improving their counseling, by changing actually the doctor's mindset that it does not, that season not often affects. Of course, there are a few things when sweat and certain conditions, it can affect it, but your paying clientele, there's no reason why they should wait for the winter. And you can see how they've been able to shift that to 45% today. And this is very, very critical because you're actually losing out the rest of the year from the income that you can make. This is really a mindset that we have that we need to re-examine. And just quickly looking at our costs. Our fixed costs, these are costs that you are incurring regardless of the level of activity. So it's very important for you to look at utilization. So let's look at how we can address this. But also equally important is your variable costs. This is linked, this is the consumables, all of that, if you're giving incentives, what you're giving your incentives. So costs that vary with the level of activity. So how can you reduce that? So let's look at the drivers of fixed cost. Scale is an important driver. You're paying rent, you're paying salaries for your staff. How can you ensure that you're maximizing it? So investment in infrastructure in the size that are appropriate to your scale. Okay, and again, efficiency. Can we ensure that constantly we are being an efficient organization? So look inward, examine how your patient flows are. Can you keep them lean? Again, we looked at seasonal variation. Seasonal variation even during the day. Mornings are very busy, afternoons are very low. How can you encourage more patients to fill up your afternoon slots? Things like that. And again, constantly looking for the staff productivity pattern. Do you give feedback to your doctors on their productivity, on your surgeons on their productivity? For your surgery time, especially if you're renting an OT, if you're sharing an OT, can you ensure that you're maximizing the productivity of your OP and OT? And again, drivers of variable costs. Can you examine your clinical protocol from a cost point of view? So cost engineering your clinical protocol, eliminating any unnecessary investigations and procedures that are done, and things that are logistics driven. Can you ensure that you have a very good inventory management? We've freed up a lot of investment just by fixing our inventory. Group purchasing for better practice, and these are several things that are done but not universally done. And very importantly, standardization can greatly reduce your variable costs. Not buying from too many vendors, not buying too many brands. really keeping your inventory more standard with a lower variation also gives you better buying power and also helps you manage your costs. You can keep your inventory low also. And again, appropriate pricing helps you increase your revenues, because of increased patient flow. So even though your costs are low, because of the scale, your utilization improves as well as your revenues improve over time. And all of this without compromising quality. In fact, more and more patients will come in only if you keep your quality up, as we've heard several of the speakers before us say. Patient experience is so important. I've mentioned this in one of the earlier talks here. I'll just take a couple of minutes more. So this is a patient who had a very bad experience. He had to come 3 times just to complete his retina visit. So this is something that we really need to examine. What is our patient undergoing? These are the leaks that our patients experience. 2 minutes. So examine, ensure no appointments, because this helps you to, this is what the West is now going towards, on-demand care they call it. So when you go into a grocery store, you can go in any time. You don't need an appointment. So can you examine that? No waiting lists. Basically, when we say no appointment, no waiting list, we're removing one barrier for our patients so that they can come in freely. So ensure that you're completing the care in a single visit. You're completing the care cycle at an appropriate level. They don't have to come for a pair of glasses. They don't have to travel to a tertiary center. I'm going to just quickly wrap up with this one story. I'll just take a minute. So this is a hospital that we worked with in Tamil Nadu. They were already having, you can see, a very decent acceptance rate. So if they advised 100 patients to undergo surgery, 68 of them were undergoing surgery within the month, which is, to our extent, this is what we keep as a benchmark, 65%. But they wanted to increase this. They wanted to see if there was any leak. So we worked with them for a year, and you can see their advice rates. We examined their counseling rates. Patients were not making it to the counselor's desk. So they were we worked on improving their data capture, their quality of communication, the patient satisfaction. Every single cataract diagnosis entered in the hospital management system with less than 618 vision was captured as a potential advice, and we wanted to see how many of them actually made it to the counselor. So manually it was maintained. They were all fast-tracked through a special cataract clinic was created. And most importantly, they ensured that whenever most of them were dropping out because of systemic fitness required. The hospital could not afford their own physician, so they tied up with a local physician and ensured that they were seen quickly. So patients were escorted and brought back. They plugged that one hole, and through also fixing their data, fixing their flows, they were able to they had not increased their outpatients, but you can see how they greatly increased their surgeries that year. So I want you to really examine where your patients are leaking, what is keeping patients from entering your system, and where they're leaking out, and ensure that you're able to maximize the return on investment for every patient who comes in. Maximize your return on investment for every rupee you put in. So thank you. I'll leave you with these points.
Thank you very much for a very, very lucid presentation. Now, the question that arises is, does the ophthalmologist need the patient or the patient needs the ophthalmologist? So our next speaker is
We'll hear Dr. Kunal Agarwal on the artificial intelligence bot for you as a practice speaker, revolutionizing healthcare.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for taking time to attend this presentation on healthcare using AI bot. So a lot of things have been spoken about the artificial intelligence by Dr. Aditya Sethi, and also about the brand building by Dr. Sitanshu. So here I will just put some insight about how an AI bot can help your practice. So I'm not a doctor. I'm Kunal Agarwal. I'm the director and founder of Easy Solution, a company involved in providing product and services related to healthcare. So we are providing easy hospital management system. We are providing AI intelligent bots. We are working with hospital in improving the patient experience, patient education, engagement, and we are also giving healthcare consultancy. So first of all, we now know what is an artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is nothing but a simulation of human intelligence processed by machines. So they can do the task what a human can do repeatedly, 24/7, 365, always available for you. Intelligence to learn and adapt as per user's input. And they also have a power to understand the natural language. So natural language understanding and processing. So even if you make any kind of typing errors or any other thing, still bots can understand that. Using data and processing to personalize information. A lot of you are using hospital management system, EMR, and a lot of things, but you are not using that data. But the bot can extract those information and serve the patient accordingly. And bots are nowadays can process media like images and other things to provide the vital information to the patients. So when we move further, so what is exactly an AI bot? It can personally interact with the patients. It can simulate human interaction, can understand the patient queries and provide relevant answers. Personalized experience by extracting information from software like our Easy Hospital Management System. The best thing is 24/7 available. Even the patient can query anything at the night, midnight, 3 a.m. The bot is available to answer them. And bot also have a self-servicing option. Suppose a patient wants a prescription. So bot can reply, extract the information from a hospital management system and automatically give them the prescription. And it can also improve your efficiency. It can also improve your conversions. So I will just discuss about that as well. And the bot can also improve the scalability and cost effectiveness. And the bot is not limited to some few channels. The bots can be linked with your website. It can be linked with your WhatsApp. It can be linked with your Facebook. It can be linked with your Telegram, Instagram, or any other channels. So why the patient engagement is important nowadays? A lot of people are talking about the patient engagement and experience. So the healthcare industry is undergoing a massive transformation thanks to the artificial intelligence. Patient engagement education experience plays a key role in practice hospital success. Patient can feel connect with doctors when they receive personalized advice or information 24/7 thanks to AI. Patient satisfaction can be more powerful than any other direct marketing mediums like Google or Facebook. Because when we talk about the digital marketing, we are majorly focusing on the Google advertisement or the Facebook advertisement, but we never think that the patient satisfaction can play a more important role. AI plays important role in learning patient case condition and automatically communicating with patient based on the available data. So let's discuss some use cases. So AI bots can also very important in lead generation. Bot can store visitor information providing important leads because as doctor says that you need to have a website, you need to have Google advertisement, Facebook advertisement. You're getting the leads from various sources. But how you are ensuring that you are not missing upon any lead? So you can have a bot like these which are connected to the various channels and they're gathering that information and putting those information centralized on your customer relationship management or a lead management tool so that you're not missing upon any lead. So that is very important. Bot can be linked at various channel sources. AI bot can show relevant information, convert visitors to book an appointment. So AI bot can understand their query and answer them and also ask them that whether they want to book an appointment. So that will also give you a confirmed appointment. It can also ask them to book an appointment and they can also give the payment links. So now the patient education. Patient have several fears about the surgery. You know that the eye ophthalmology surgery are not that dangerous, but when the patient comes to you, they have several doubts and the queries. So they can go to the home and query the bots, and bots can answer their questions and queries, and they can also give the relevant information. It can also give the YouTube videos of yours, which can explain about the surgery, which can reduce their fears. So that is all about the patient education. And so these are some screenshots which we have implemented. So automatically bots are replying. They are giving the options to the patients. And when we go further to the self-servicing option using the bot, patient can see live availability of the doctors and book appointment along with the payments. Patient can reschedule or cancel appointments as well, so you're not wasting your slots. So you're giving an option to the patient that they can instantly reschedule, they can instantly cancel their appointment. Patient can download prescription, patient can view pre-op instruction, patient can talk with a live agent. So if the bot is not able to resolve the query of the patient, then it can transfer the chat to your live agent so they can answer them. Bot can send reminders about the medicine and can take order for the replenishment. So automatically you're getting conversion about the pharmacies, so it can remind that your pharmacy medicines are getting over, you can reorder and pay online through the WhatsApp or different channels. So this is again a screenshot how the bots can send the PDFs, it can send the locations and different things. So various channels for AI bot. So I've already discussed, we can integrate with the WhatsApp, website, Telegram, Facebook Messenger and various channels.
Kunal, can you just wind up, please?
Yeah.
Paucity of time. I think next session people are here.
Yeah. So the key takeaways from this is AI can handle your patients 24/7, can reduce load on your staff, provide a dedicated mechanism to educate patients, improve your brand value, improve the patient engagement, improve the patient satisfaction. Thank you.
Now, as the last speaker, we will ask Dr. Arun Sethi, and he will give us a brief overview of the design planning for eye hospitals, the future.
Thank you very much, Dr. Debashish, and thank you all for being so patient. And we know we're running out of time, so this is going to be a very, very brief talk. How many in this hall actually have their own eye hospitals? Can you raise your hand, or their own practice? Oh, very good. How many of you have recently built a hospital or are planning to build one? Very good. So this is a talk for you. Actually, this should have been given to Dr. Debashish because he builds one hospital every year, but they've given it to me. So what is the basic purpose? It's very interesting that if you see the design that we have, your limitation in India is the cost of the land. It eats up all the cost of the hospital. So it's very important when you're planning something, you should plan 10 to 15 years in advance, or you should leave the city and go out and wait for the community to come. This is what we did. So you see here that green patch over there, I don't have a pointer, is the hospital site of 1.25 acres, and that is in the community which has now started developing, and the rate of the land there today is 2 lakhs a square yard. So imagine we have 6,000 square yards. So the first intention is to sell the land rather than go for a headache of a hospital. The second intention, if you want to do community service, you have to do it. So this is how the approach of the super highways that are coming up, Dwarka Expressway and all are. And then if you see, this is now in India, they don't give you land as you want it. You have to take what you get. So the land that they gave us is on 3 sides open, and you can see that there's a marking where you can build, where you cannot build, the circulation of the fire engines and so on. But what is more interesting is that there are even passages through the land which have to be given to the villagers who stay around when there are no villages around. So this plan was made by an architect whose father made our present hospital in the United States in Gurgaon. And this is the second stage of that which he has done. And it's interesting that because it's a big project and there's always a shortage of funds, so we decided, I and my wife, that we will do the minimum required to get the clearances, which is around 16,000 square feet, and then scale it up as we go along depending on the patients who come. So you can see the design now. This is a very American design because this talks of having a lane system. In America, the ophthalmologist goes from room to room where the optom works up. Here, the patient comes to the ophthalmologist. So their logic is that it saves time. Also, it saves time for the patient because they don't, especially when they're old or in a wheelchair, putting them on one chair and taking them off and all those things. So as they talked of ROI and all those things are coming into the picture. So these are the new systems that they're doing it. So you can see that one floor is dedicated to ophthalmology, one floor is dedicated to multi-speciality, and then we have a floor which will be designed just to keep vacant. Now, why have we kept a vacant floor? This idea we got from Arvind people because whenever they build a hospital, they build 2 middle floors which are vacant. And the logic is as you scale up, you can design what you do with it. Because later on to do civil work is very difficult. Sorry. So this is the design of an operating theater floor. It's a small design. The idea is that the theaters should be completely sterile, and the movement of the patient to the theater and back should be simple and elegant. And we have daycare beds. The idea is in the beginning we'll open in the morning at 8 and close at night. That will keep our costs under control, management systems in place, because most of the time, the first 3 years, you only lose money because there are not enough patients. So that is the whole idea of doing it in this manner. So we have one dedicated to ophthalmology, one dedicated to multi-speciality, one would be a femto LASIK kind of a thing, and one we are looking at is from an OB-GYN point of view, a birthing suite. So you can see some of the elevations. But what is good about working with the American architects is they give you everything in one package. What is horrible is that their systems don't work in India. And then you have to go to the local architect, who makes it confusing. Now, if you see, there were rastas, there were triangular plots. So they created a very nice system of a yoga center, of a wellness center, and also staff quarters in such a limited space. So you can utilize the space adequately, and you can use it in a way that is interesting for you, and you can be in a campus rather than having to travel on congested roads. So with that, we'd like to thank you for a short presentation, and I think I should be given a special thanks by the audience for finishing in less than 2.5 minutes.
Thank you, Dr. Arun, for a wonderful insight. We have 3 panelists here.
I think we'll have a group photo.
So, okay. So, would you like to make a comment on this session?
Anybody from South
Please.
Africa like to make a comment on the session? So I request everybody to come on the stage, please, for a faculty and a group photograph. Please come up. Everybody, please come for a photograph. No patient listening to us.
Whose mobile is